So the Israelis in the U.S. failed to take out Khamenei, Larijani, Pezeshkian, Shamkhani. They failed to take out everyone, but they did bomb a elementary school for girls, and apparently they've killed 40 people at that elementary school for girls. I'd imagine mostly elementary school girls, maybe a few teachers and staff. There's videos from the scene. It's just the screams of mothers being heard nonstop. It is one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard. You know how I know the U.S. operation is going to fail? Because they called it Operation Epic Fury. The dumbest name I've ever heard. Operation Epic Fury. Are you kidding me? You know, this is Operation Ghost of Epstein. This is Operation Epstein Fury. Let's take a look here at kind of what went down today. So we had strikes on Iran, Israeli-U.S. strikes on Iran, attempted assassination attempts on Ali Larijani, Ayatollah Khamenei, President Pezeshkian. We had attempted strikes on Shamkhani. We had attempted strikes on a lot of people. Apparently, they all failed. But Israel did manage to unalive 5 little girls at a school in Iran in Manab City, as well as one boy who was playing in a schoolyard. We have seen strikes in Haifa. This was out of Haifa. We saw this right now. There is a red alert in the Israeli Home Front Command in Tel Aviv. They have big warnings, big red alerts in Tel Aviv. This was earlier today. About 3-4 hours ago, we saw impacts in Haifa. I'm just giving you an overview, essentially, of what we've seen. We saw impacts in Galilee, in Israel and Galilee. As you can see here. We saw strikes at secure bases all across the country. We saw impact in Tel Aviv. Interceptions above Jordan. There was not a lot thrown at Jordan. Jordan hosts the Moffat Air Base, which has 50 to 60% of all deployable U.S. air assets currently stationed there. Obviously, a lot of them are up in the air right now, or were up in the air at the time. But we did see that there was about 2 missiles launched at Jordan, and or 2 salvos launched at Jordan, and mostly intercepted, I believe. I actually don't know if there were any interceptions. There were strikes on the U.S. Navy 5th Fleet Command and Control Center in Bahrain. That was successful, although we do know that it had probably been evacuated, as the U.S. had evacuated Bahrain, some Iraqi bases, base in Syria, base in Kuwait. There was also strikes on Kuwait. We saw this video, American Tomahawk missiles flying above Tehran. That was a crazy video. Iranian ballistic missiles struck the Al Dhafra air base in the UAE. There were casualties reported in the strikes on the UAE. There were several salvos launched at the UAE. Thank you so much, Wasim, for the super chat. Iranian ballistic missiles also targeted the U.S. base in Kuwait. They struck Bahrain, as we covered. Here's more photos of the strike on Bahrain, the U.S. Navy 5th Fleet Command. Citizens of Bahrain were filmed celebrating that, if you could believe it. Explosions heard in Jordan earlier today. Those were interceptions. I've not seen any reports of successful strikes in Jordan. There were interceptions above Abu Dhabi, some of the skyscrapers above Abu Dhabi. There were interceptions there, although we did see some successful strikes. Multiple confirmed hits at the U.S. Naval Support Facility base in Bahrain, Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, American base in Kuwait, and all across Israel. There were many successful strikes for the Iranians. I'm not going to show you that. Explosions in Tel Aviv. What else do we have? There were some crazy photos of even the bomb shelters were getting smoked out in Israel and Tel Aviv today. Besieged deployed through the streets of Tehran. Security checkpoints were set up everywhere. Martial law is in effect. We saw more impacts in, I think this was Hebron. We saw strikes in Israel. Iran's Supreme National Security Council said the enemy believes that the steadfast Iranian nation will surrender to its petty demands through cowardly measures. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran have begun a decisive response to hostile actions and we'll keep people continuously updated. We're going to check right now, see if we have any updates. Right now, we have interceptions reported in Abu Dhabi. Another wave is on the way, likely to the Al Dhafra base in the UAE. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. An American sailor reacts to the Iranian strike in Bahrain. Spokesperson of the General Staff of the Armed Forces says, we will teach Israel and America a lesson that they have never experienced in history. We had direct hit against a complex in Escalation, Israel. New strikes against Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Kuwait. That was about 1.5 hours ago. We saw that. Confirmed impacts in the UAE. What else do we have here? Multiple impacts confirmed in the UAE. This was an hour and a half ago. See as they zoom in here. That is a big impact. So that was targeting the Al Dhafra air base in the UAE. There are casualties among the American soldiers in Bahrain. So, folks, Trump did say when he began this war, he gave a speech and said that, in fact, we could very well see U.S. soldier casualties. U.S. casualties. He admitted that. He knew that there would be casualties. And that is not surprising because we all kind of assumed, I even discussed this last night on our stream, that the U.S. would be accepting casualties. And after that, they will probably move in to try to take out Iranian missile launchers and air defense systems. Iranian ballistic missile targeted the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. That is a very big development that Saudi Arabia, U.S. Air Base in Saudi Arabia has been targeted. No oil and gas assets in Saudi Arabia or the region have been targeted thus far. We had direct hits in Abu Dhabi, as well, or sorry, in Dubai, as you can see there. What else do we have? There was a brief period where the Home Front Command said it was all clear for the first time in 4 hours. They said people can leave the shelters, although no one did leave the shelters because not too long after we saw strikes in Erbil in Iraqi Kurdistan. We saw air defense operating there, shooting stuff out of the sky that was headed en route. They called for people to leave the shelters. They said you could leave the shelters. Obviously, no one left the shelters because we then saw red alerts in Tel Aviv. They announced Iran has launched about 35 missiles at Israel this morning with 5 or 6 impacts recorded. If they are saying 5 or 6 impacts, we know it's probably far more than that. Israel's Home Front Command said, all clear, you can leave the bunkers. Well, no one left the bunkers, right? A list of U.S.-Israeli assassination attempts this morning in Tehran. The Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, was targeted. President Masoud Pezeshkian was targeted. Chief of Staff Abdul Rahim Mousavi was targeted. Defense Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani was targeted. And Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Larijani were targeted. As we know thus far, we can confirm that Khamenei and Pezeshkian are confirmed safe. They survived. And there are reports that these guys, Shamkhani, Mousavi, and Larijani, also survived. Now, after 30 minutes after they said that Israelis could leave the bunkers in Tel Aviv and elsewhere in the country, in Haifa, they have announced new Home Front Command red alerts all across Israel. We're going to do an update here for you and give you some new information. They are saying stay in the bunkers now because there are red alerts in Tel Aviv. Also, interceptions reported right now in Abu Dhabi as a large wave is on its way to Abu Dhabi. So that is the residence. That was the residence of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. His entire residence was destroyed. This was an assassination attempt, but he is in safe hands. He is in a secure location. So this is what these criminals are doing. You know, they were trying to negotiate. They were in the middle of a diplomatic process. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, not only did they start a war yet again in the middle of negotiations, they launched strikes on the residence of Ayatollah Khamenei, a man who was, at the very least, they were committing to this process of negotiations. They were giving offers to the United States. They were giving opportunities for peace. They said, we do not seek war. They did not start this war. They did not start the last war, the 12-day war, 12-day battle, whatever you want to call it. And again, they're just trying to kill anything and everything that has a modicum of power within Iran. They are targeting the Supreme Political Council. They are attacking anyone and everyone that has power in Iran. They want to overthrow the government, but they don't understand that in attacking the government, and also they didn't even attack anyone, right? Khamenei is alive. Shamkhani is alive. Larijani is alive. I'm sure they probably got some IRGC officials and whatnot. Who else? Pezeshkian alive. Arakchi alive. They killed 5 girls at a school in Iran, and they killed one little boy playing at the playground at his school in Iran. This is what they're doing. They're killing innocent children. This is the Epstein regime doing what it has always done. Killing children, failing at regime change. They destroyed the home, the residence, the official residence of the supreme leader. What else can we really expect? We see this gathering of students at Sharif University of Technology condemning the United States and Israeli attack on the country. Wow. I'm not going to show you this video, but right below this post, there's another video. Images of the site of the martyrdom of 24 students in the U.S. and Zionist regime's missile attack on a girls' elementary school. The crying of mothers can be heard. I'm not going to show you that video. Israel and the U.S. bombed an elementary school, a girls' elementary school in Iran. And so far, it's been reported that they murdered 24 elementary school girls in that attack. 24 girls, and all you hear is the screams of the mothers. We got new photos of the U.S. Navy support facility in Bahrain. Big fire over there. U.S. Navy 5th Fleet Command Control Center was hit. Wow. So the Israelis in the U.S. failed to take out Khamenei, Larijani, Pezeshkian, Shamkhani, anyone. They failed to take out anyone. Khamenei, Pezeshkian, they failed to take out everyone. But they did bomb a elementary school for girls, and apparently they've killed 40 people at that elementary school for girls. I'd imagine mostly elementary school girls, maybe a few teachers and staff. There's videos from the scene. It's just the screams of mothers being heard nonstop. It is one of the most horrifying things I've ever heard. The Mokafik El Silti Air Base in Jordan looks like it was targeted, which is currently storing the vast supply of U.S. air assets in the region, fighter jets. Now, why it's crazy is because the U.S. evacuated from Iraq, from Kuwait, from Bahrain, from all Syria, all these bases they have in the region, because they thought Iran won't dare target Jordan. They won't dare target our Mukafag air base. And if they do, we have enough. We're going to just put all of our air defenses there, because the Iranians would rather use their long-range missiles for the U.S. ships, the warships that we have off their coast, and use them on Israel. And they have such a limited supply of these medium to long-range missiles that they wouldn't use it on the Mukafak Air Base in Jordan. But, wow. There were U.S. casualties at this base, by the way. Some more photos, some more videos. Here's just a massive plume above all of Bahrain. There were U.S. casualties at this U.S. Navy 5th Fleet Command. Not a lot, I would imagine, because we don't have the exact numbers, but I'd imagine they evacuated it for the most part. But there were confirmed U.S. casualties. One major development we've seen, this is reported from the Israeli military intelligence. We've now seen the first videos of Israeli strikes on Iranian missile launchers. Again, this is exactly what we discussed over the past 48 hours. The 2 last streams we did, we went into a lot of depth about how Israel's first major targets would not be the underground missile cities, anything like that, because Iran has more than enough of these underground missile cities. They have more than enough missiles. The first targets are going to be the missile launchers, because if you get rid of the missile launchers or enough of them, it doesn't matter how many missiles you have, because you have more missiles that you could fire than launchers that you need to actually fire them with. So we're seeing a well-concerted campaign against the missile launchers right now. This is what they did to Hezbollah in Lebanon. They targeted the missile launchers of Hezbollah. Hezbollah still has a lot of missiles, but they don't have a lot of launchers. Okay, so this is going to be where they try to really take out the capabilities of Iran, taking out air defense systems. More importantly, taking out the launchers. I don't want anyone to, belittle the capability of Israel. I mean, yes, we make fun of Israel. Yes, they failed to assassinate the leadership. But we do not want to underestimate the capabilities of the U.S. and Israel. They do have the capacity to do a lot of damage. And this is a very big way that in a sustained operation over time, they could cause problems for Iran by taking out these missile launchers. So that is a big development. Wow. This is in Qatar just now. That is a crazy scene in Qatar. I don't even know what's happening there. U.S. airbase was obviously hit in Qatar pretty damn hard. The hardest one that got hit was the U.S. Base in Bahrain. That one just got absolutely smoked. The truth of the matter is it can and will get a lot crazier. So crazy that what happened today is going to seem like peanuts, okay? That's just the truth. You may see something here and there, but probably not much for the next 5 to 6 hours. And once night falls in the region, there will be very big operations, okay? So I'll leave you with this image from Bahrain. I mean, it's just crazy what happened to that U.S. Naval Command and Control Center. But for now, I think we will probably peace out, and thank you so much. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.